Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Comedian MTG. My name is Ian, and today I have a very special guest, Jay from Tier1Con. Say hi.
Hi, Ian. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, happy to have you. So, for those who don't know, this summer is Tier1Con, the live event in Denmark, and it's a pretty exciting opportunity, not only for the Tier 1 store, but you and Mads, the people running the tournament, for cEDH players around the world. It's kind of our first giant in-person cEDH tournament, and it's our first large cEDH event post-COVID. So there's a lot of things going into this. I've been a really big fan of everything you guys have put on so far. So
we're a fan of you, obviously.
Appreciate it. So in the background, you guys may see a website. This is the Tier 1 website. I will leave the link for it in the show notes down below. It's going to have all the features for this tournament. And Jay, do you just want to start off by sort of giving the raw pitch for Tier 1 in this tournament coming up?
Sure thing, Ian. So yeah, as you mentioned, this is basically the first big cEDH and Commander tournament post-COVID here. So we had this idea for a while that we wanted to try and make this GP-like tournament for Commander, and it all started back in January with our webcam series that led up to where we are now. And now we just had this past weekend, we just had the trial, so to speak, by having the Tier1Con Old Boys edition, where we hosted a pre-modern and 2 old school weekends at the same venue and sort of ran a trial run. And now we're ramping up for the big event in August, which will be bigger in every way.
Yeah, it's really exciting. And so there's not only is there the main event, the cEDH main event tournament, but there's also different sub events, correct?
Definitely, yeah. So we have, obviously, as you mentioned, we have the World Championship in cEDH, which is a 2-day event starting on day 1 is Saturday morning, starts on Saturday morning and runs through Sunday. So just sort of like at a regular GP, you gotta win enough to qualify to day 2, and if you're good enough there, then you will qualify for the final table.
Wow, that's super cool. So it's kind of wild seeing. I mean, I think we've had 1 or 2 2-day cEDH tournaments before, but this is like on that, as you mentioned, GP scale, where it is really, you know, everybody who is, you know, coming to compete at the high level of competition. It's the first like giant tournament for cEDH, and it's a very exciting opportunity. Not to mention the fact that we have this GP style event surrounding it. So as you can see on your screen right now, this is the website, as I mentioned, and there is a full breakdown of all of the events that are happening. We have it broken down by day. We have Friday the 13th, the first day of the convention. I guess you guys are calling it a convention.
Yeah, I mean, it is a convention with a lots of tournament inside it. So
yeah, exactly.
We went for it. There's gonna be alt artists. Hopefully, there's gonna come some cosplayers, and
yeah, very cool.
I mean, a very GP-like experience, hopefully.
Yeah, and we have the artists down here, as you just mentioned. There's some pretty artists with some notoriety to them coming, who mostly do alters. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly.
Very cool. And as many people know, cEDH and EDH in general is it's a format where people love their bling. So alters are kind of a giant part of the subsection of the community. So it's really cool to now have localized artists coming and showing off their work in the same way a Magic artist would come to a normal GP.
Yeah, exactly. And I can't promise anything, but we do have a notable Danish Magic artist, so who knows if he will show up.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Yeah, now, speaking of that notable artist, that was where the prizing from the webcam tournaments came from, correct?
Exactly, yes. So Jesper Ising is a friend of both Tier 1 and Mads and I, and he was kind enough to provide us with the prizes for the 4 webcam tournaments we did, which was a foil and signed Thassa's Oracle Artist Proof and a signed Thassa's Oracle playmat.
Yeah. Wow, which is like and once again, we're referring to the original webcam tournaments that led up to this main event. And for a free to enter event, that was awesome to have like such a unique prize available for people.
Yeah, it was sort of difficult for us to settle on a prize because we wanted the prize to be something that people wanted, but not valuable enough that people felt compelled to win or do more stuff, because it was a webcam tournament, and that does put a lot of restrictions on how closely we can monitor the games.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a lot easier to sort of fudge the rules when those things are happening. So I think it was a smart decision on your part as a community to really get a gift that was something that people would aspire for, but nothing that would encourage like cheating on a webcam variety.
And we were actually blown away how successful our webcam series started. Obviously, the first one was not that big, but they steadily grew. And for the last ones, we had people from all over the world. And I mean, literally all over the world. Australia, Far East, North and South America, North Europe, South Europe. I mean, the people came from everywhere. And that was amazing to see the support. And obviously, we hope to see the same support here in August.
Yeah, and I participated in each of them, as you know, and it's...
We're also finalists.
yes, in the first one. They were just such a fantastic experience. It was actually funny, when I signed up for the first event, I got my time zones backwards, and I was like, yeah, I can do a tournament starting at 4 p.m. And then one of my friends messaged me, and they were like, hey, it starts at 4 a.m., right? And I was like, I planned my day completely wrong. But it was, for me, that was actually like a big part of it. It reminded me of back when like midnight pre-releases were more of a thing, right? Just waking up and like just breaking out of this normalcy that we have in an everyday. Like I get to wake up at 4 a.m. and compete in a tournament with most of the players being on the other side of the world. Like it's such a unique experience. And each and every one of those tournaments was absolutely fantastic. You guys did a fantastic job, and I know that I and many others were so disappointed when those ended, because they were like the new thing to look forward to every month.
Yeah, so I cannot make any promises, but I mean, they were well received, so who knows if they will return. But one thing that surprised me, and that was a happy surprise, was the camaraderie between the players. So obviously I was in front of the camera for the most of the times, but I did get a chance to jump into the Discord between rounds. And whenever people were not playing, they were just hanging out in the lounge area, like 70 people in one channel, just chatting, having a blast.
It was so...
That kind of blew my mind.
It was so funny watching that evolve, because at first, I feel like the first tournament was a lot of people from the cEDH Nexus, who the word kind of had spread about the first tournament through there, and a lot of the regulars there had been the people who shown up, or at least like they would come and talk in the lounge between the first round. And it sort of was like us memeing on PlayM, and like Spleenface and I like ribbing each other back and forth, and legit vocals just being a troll. And then it sort of just it just kind of picked up steam to where like you'd go between the rounds, and suddenly there's people who we've never interacted with before, and they're all in on it, and we're watching the coverage live. And I remember everyone watching one of the games that was just absolutely going awry on coverage, and you guys were doing your best to like be so professional with it, and all of a sudden the lobby chat, we're just losing our minds laughing and just having a great time.
I mean I had a great time for the webcam events, so I really do look forward to seeing everybody and put a face to all the nicknames, and just having this blast of the event. I really do believe that this is gonna be a like highlight event for cEDH, and hopefully it could also be like the first of a series of a lot of big events. That
would be fantastic.
We actually got approached by a few different sponsors, and one of them already signed on, so we are picking up or getting some attention. And I mean, that's the first step to making another edition of it. So now we just need the community to back up, and I mean, then who knows where this can go.
Yeah, and so do you guys want to elaborate? Because I know, I think a lot of the things that might be on people's mind right now is sort of the practical aspect of getting to an IRL tournament right now. Some people are now vaccinated. We're having a lot more vaccinations worldwide. Some countries are rolling out slower than others. Do you have sort of an idea of, I guess, or something you'd want to say to people who are thinking about attending, things like that?
So, obviously, everybody who will want to enter the venue will need a Corona pass.
Sure, makes sense.
So that means either you gotta show us that you're vaccinated or that you have a fresh test.
Yeah.
So we have a guard securing that, so you cannot enter without showing that.
Okay, cool.
But I can also say that at least here in Denmark, we are that far in our vaccinations that they actually allow us to have up towards 1,000 people coming each day for the tournament. So you can kind of guess the scale of it.
Yeah, totally. It's good to hear that you guys are at a position in which people can feel comfortable traveling to the venue and feel safe. And obviously, as someone who's attending, I'm very confident in everything you guys are doing and feel safe enough that I am traveling internationally and going to this venue. So I know, obviously, it's just a word of one person, but I'm very confident in going and traveling safe to this event. So if people were sort of had that in the back of their mind as far as questions, I just wanted to address that so they can, feel safe.
And if you have any questions, if you're wanting to participate, but do kind of want to speak with any of us, we have our Discord where people are more than welcome to reach out to me and Mads or Joking, who's going to be the main event TO. We're flying Joking in from the Monarch events. He also helped us running the webcam series behind the scenes. So yeah, reach out to any of us if you have any concerns or questions. We will be happy to help you answer to the best of our knowledge.
And with that, I will be leaving the Discord link down in the description below. I will leave a unlimited invite. So if people have questions, if they want to just hop into the Discord, in addition to the website that you guys see in front of you, we will also be leaving a Discord link in the description below. The name of this video is Come Win a Timetwister. So let's provide people with a little context on that one. The cEDH main event, and I'm first of all so excited for this entire event. I'm so excited for this main event. In general, just having such a large-scale cEDH event is so exciting to me. But not only that, there is a top-heavy, insane prize pool. So would you like to break that down for us?
Oh, definitely. So Mads and I convinced the Tier1 guys to make this a real tournament with real prizes. And we convinced them to give a full set of revised dual lands to the top table.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Oh yeah, everybody can use duels and they will never go out of fashion.
Yeah.
And then they said we can do you even better. If we reach 250 participants for the main event, they will throw in an unlimited Timetwister for the winner, which also means that the remaining 3 people from the final table will then share the 10 duels between them.
Right. And that's like, it is insane. We've never had an event with such a high scale in the cEDH community, and it's kind of wild because not only was this announcement dropped at the last webcam tournament, but it's wild because the Timetwister has continued to go up financially since this announcement.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's almost doubled since we announced it.
Oh my god.
So you can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
if you come and win.
Yeah.
I know it can be expensive flying into Denmark, depending on where in the world you're from, but you might go home having made a ton of money.
Yeah. It is insane. It is just insane to me that this is a tournament where such a large-scale prizing system is enacted. This is such a real moment for cEDH as a sub-format, and it's just a fantastic thing that's being put on by you guys in this community, and the scale of it is just it's almost incomprehensible because up until now it's been such a smaller scale because it's a subsection of the community, and bringing it into this light that is not only very professional, because you guys have done an excellent job with quality in the tournaments and the content, and now having such a large scale event on top of all that, it's fantastic.
I mean, I am so hyped for this, and I really, really, really want to give the Timetwister away. I mean,
yeah.
I want to be the one handing over the Timetwister.
Yeah.
I don't know even if it's gonna be my job, but I just at least we want to be part of giving someone I don't know if it's life changing, but it is a significant
it's
amount.
a pretty big one, yeah.
And I don't know for everybody else, but for me as a longtime Magic player, owning a piece of power has always been a bucket list thing for me.
Yeah, totally. And a piece of the Power 9 of Magic, and the only Power 9 legal in our format, and one that is, as I mentioned, financially just skyrocketing as of late.
It will continue to rise, because I do believe in the potential of cEDH as a tournament format, and that's also kind of what we want to do here. We want to show Wizards and other TOs that cEDH is a great way to engage in the ever-growing Commander community.
Yeah.
And the regular EDH is a difficult beast in terms of tournaments, because how do you decide on power level?
Right.
But that's not the issue for us here, because we just say, go nuts. Try and be as insane as you can. And, that makes it a lot easier in that sense to make a tournament out of it. But then there's obviously all the difficulty with making a pot of 4 and not having a pot of 3. That. But luckily, Joking and Mess has figured that out.
Which is not involved. And if you guys want to hear more about sort of the background of the tournament process from your perspective, Jay, Into the North also did an episode with you on there, and definitely covered a little more of the history of this tournament series, as well as some of the background stuff, the organizational standpoint, how it is to cover a multiplayer format. For me today, I'm more interested in just hyping you guys up and making people show up.
And I am hype as well. I cannot wait. We had some amazing games at our webcam series, but here we're just going to ramp it up. We can have live interviews and live deck checks, and we're going to have a ton of fun on Friday. That is not regular Magic coverage. We have a lot of stuff planned that is not announced, but that will come at a later date. So if you cannot participate, you should at least tune in on our Twitch channel to watch the stream.
Now, so that being said, I assume, because right now obviously we have the one event on Friday just as the display, I assume as things start to trickle out, that's going to be updated more on the site.
Yeah, of course. One thing I can say is that we are hosting a cEDH panel with notable people from the community, you included, Ian, and we're gonna ask you guys a bunch of stuff cEDH and EDH related and hear what you have to say.
Yeah, and that's for those who don't know, it's kind of a really fantastic thing personally, because I don't think I've actually talked about this on the channel, but when I was working with the cEDH cast, we had a plan to go up to a GP in Canada, I believe it's Toronto, and Magic Fest Toronto, yeah, exactly. And it's part of that process was collaborating with other content creators like Nathan Jones, and I think the Spike Feeders and Playing with Power were planning on being there. I was going to travel up there with Shaper Savant, and there was going to be a panel of creators, and we were going to be a part of that process, and that was one of the first events canceled by COVID. So for me personally, sort of having this opportunity on my new channel outside of COVID now, and we're on the other side of this hill, it was just a really amazing offer and invite from you guys, and super grateful for this chance to be a part of this panel, because it definitely feels like sort of the post-COVID life redemption.
Oh yeah. So I mean, obviously, you guys were all the ones that inspired us to believe in this format, because as we can see, there's so much content and there's such a high engagement. I mean, the CEDH players are this weird little bubble of super engaged players.
Yeah.
I mean, most people that play CEDH are super engaged in some way, because it is a complex format,
right?
And there is a ton of preparing, or so to speak. I mean, you have to know what kind of combo and whatever the format accepted power level is before you can even enter, and it is one of the most complex and fun formats for me, I believe. So I do believe that this format has potential so much.
Now, we talked a ton about the cEDH main event, but that is a fraction of what you guys are offering at this venue, and I'd love to sort of go through some of these events. And as I mentioned, they're here on the website, and you can see we've had the Friday event up here. We have a sealed event for Adventures of the Forgotten Realms.
So in regards to that, I know the Tier1 guys actually are attempting a world record for the biggest ever Friday Night Magic sealed event. So if you also want to be part of that record attempt, then that's a great way to do it.
Sounds like a great thing to participate in.
Yes. So you can potentially say that you were part of the biggest ever Friday Night Magic event.
Yep.
Other than that, we have a engaged community for the dual commander scene in Denmark. They are hosting the Danish national championship for dual commander. Obviously, you don't have to be Danish to participate. So if dual commander is your jam, come and show the guys how to play.
And so is that the qualifier on Saturday leads to the event on Sunday, correct?
Yes,
gotcha.
Exactly. You don't have to play the qualifier. I do believe it awards you a buy or something like that.
Makes sense. Okay. Let me check that.
So all the tournaments are sort of, most of them are community driven. So Mass and I, as you mentioned in the beginning, we are actually not hired by Tier1. We're working with them, and so are a group called cEDH. They are the ones hosting all of the casual side events. I mean, there is a ton of them on site, and then we have the group that's hosting the dual commander, which is another separate entity. So it is a lot of communities coming together to host this
massive
entire event, and then Tier1 is the vendor that is backing us all, and that's amazing.
And it's fantastic that there is a store willing to back such an amazing opportunity. And so I'd love to talk about, there's so many side events. It's fantastic. There's Arch Enemy, there's Plane Chase, Secret Partners, and
I mean, if you can think about it or if you heard about something, it's there basically.
It's so many of these like variants of the commander format, and so many exciting ways to play the game that people are used to playing in their house with their 4 friends, and it's so like cool to see a structured version of each of these events. We have Commander Booster Box League, like that's opening a booster box and like building a deck and then having a league with it in a tournament setting. That's like it's just such an interesting opportunity for people who haven't got to experience an event like that live. Like, people are used to doing these in these small groups with their friends at their LGS, and it's amazing to have a large event willing to experiment with all these different types of side events.
As I said, we have the capacity of 1,000 people each day, and we are fairly certain that we are going to reach capacity each day. Obviously, the cEDH main event is the highlight of the tournament, but I only think a fraction of the participants or people at the venue will actually be participating in that, because people will be coming for all sorts of events. I mean, if you can find 8 people for Legacy, we will host that. If you can find 8 people for Vintage or Old School, you name it. We are just providing the venue, and you kind of set the playground you want to play in.
Awesome. Now, back to, I realized there's a part of the cEDH main event that we did not cover. And I think it's an important thing to cover, and it not only is an important thing to cover just for people attending and for people in the know, but it's important, I think, that I just want to say that I think you guys have come up with a brilliant solution to what many have considered an impossible problem here in the idea of what to do as far as proxies for this tournament.
Yes.
And I'll, as I said, you can go into that in a second. I just want to commend you guys before we even start. I think you've come up with a brilliant solution here. So if you want to go into that.
Yeah, I cannot take much praise for that.
Mhm.
That is mostly mess and joking.
Yeah.
I work with them on the initial list of cards that should be included, but they took the idea and ran with it.
Yeah.
But the issue is that obviously we have a store backing us, and there's kind of three ways or categories of proxies, if you can say, in Wizard's eyes.
Yeah.
A proxy is something you receive at a tournament from a judge if you have a marked card in some way. For example, if your foil is curling, they will provide you with a proxy that you will play with, and then you take out the marked card, so to speak. Then there's counterfeits, which we all obviously know what is. And then there's playtest cards.
Yeah.
It is the third thing we are providing. So a playtest card is something that is basically there as a placeholder for another card. It doesn't include any copyright the material or imagery or anything from Wizards.
Yeah.
And when you sign up with your deck list, you can tell us which of the, I believe, 35 cards you need to be provided for you, and then when you arrive on Friday and sign in, we will give you the playtest cards. Yeah.
So to be clear, this is a list, and as I mentioned, the link for the Discord will be in below. That full list is on there, and
but it is the 35 most expensive and played cards in cEDH. I mean, it is also a service for the people that may not want to bring their very expensive Timetwister or duels or Imperial Seals or Gilded Drakes. I mean, Mox Diamonds, they are Gears Cradle, they are all becoming incredibly expensive, and I mean, the more you play with it, you run the risk of damaging it. So that's also a service for people that just want to be more careful with their cards. Maybe
it's
not
funny.
travel with.
It's funny that you bring that up. I heard you talking about this policy on the Into the North podcast, and I was thinking that myself. You know, as I mentioned, I personally am traveling internationally to this tournament, and I was thinking that myself as an option to safely be able to play with the appropriate cards and not have to carry a ridiculous amount of money in duels or something like that.
I mean, everybody that has traveled for tournaments know that obviously you don't leave your cards in your check-in luggage, because who knows what will happen to them then. So you always bring them on your carry-on, but then you go through the security, and they will always, and I tell you, they will always pull you to the side and ask you what that big lump in your backpack is. So do yourself a service and pull it out already. Open your deck box, because I've traveled to multiple Legacy GPs, and the airport security just takes the deck box and starts like with their thumb scrolling through my cards, and I'm just standing there. No, please be careful. And so at least if you are using the playtest cards that we provide, a lot of the value is in them. And it's
as I mentioned sort of before we talked about it, I just think you guys have come with a very clever solution here. You guys have been really considerate to the fact that cEDH is a prohibitively expensive format, just because of the fact that we're playing with some of the best cards ever printed in this game, and the fact that the reserve list exists. So I want to thank you guys for coming up with a really clever solution, while also trying to be considerate of people and considerate of the stores.
Obviously, I would wish that we can just have everybody play at full power and no restrictions, but you cannot make everybody happy here. I think this is the best compromise we could have hoped for.
I agree.
And I do believe we are as close as allowing people to play fully optimized lists.
You guys have done so much work for this tournament, and I'm so thrilled. This is like the highlight of my summer, is being able to travel for this tournament, to be able to participate in it. And
it's been a lot of work, but it is like Mass and I originally got the idea for the webcam tournaments in November, and the first one happened in January, and then it just kind of like have grown from there. And we've been working on it ever since. So I'm excited to see it all in reality in August. Every time I think about it, I get so happy, because I am so excited to see what we can make of it. And I really do believe that this is gonna be a marquee event that you're gonna be sad that you missed. So.
Yeah, I really, obviously traveling internationally is obviously a big commitment for people. If you are a resident of, if you're a resident of Denmark, I mean, no excuse, get in there. But
we do believe that the Danish community is gonna support us. There's a lot of excitement.
I can imagine.
And if I can plug the city as well, Copenhagen is an amazing city, and especially during the summer, we don't have the most fun winters, but July and August, Copenhagen is amazing.
Yeah, and as I said, it's not always within people's abilities to be able to travel internationally, but if it is within your power to be able to make an event like this, and you are interested in cEDH on a large scale or in a tournament setting, or you just want to be a part of this exciting opportunity, I'd highly suggest people go. It's so funny. I feel like I'm like so aggressively shilling this, but it's just because I genuinely believe in this tournament. I genuinely believe in what you guys are doing. It's just been a fantastic experience, and that's been in the world where we can't all be in the same room with each other. So the idea that we can all now do that and have these side events and participate in so many amazing things just excites me so very much, and I just can't wait to participate.
Again, I feel like I've said this a lot, but I mean, I truly believe that the people don't want to miss this, and we are hoping that this is gonna be a historic event, the start of something big for us and for cEDH and for all of the community. So support us if you can.
Awesome. And it's a fantastic note to leave on. As I mentioned, all the important links I will throw down in the description of this video. Everyone, encourage you, please check it out. It's going to be the cEDH event, at the very least of the year. I feel like it's going to get outscaled by a number one of these events soon enough as it is, because you guys, I mean, the snowball of your momentum has been fantastic, and I know you guys are going to continue to do great stuff. So, Jay, thank you so much for joining me today. Big thanks to you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks to Mads for throwing us together in this, and obviously being the background person in this tournament.
You should get a lot of praise. Mads has been working so hard for this, and I know I am getting a lot of FaceTime here, but we cannot forget Mads. He's even bigger part of this than I am. I am just lucky enough to be the one talking to all you nice folks and covering the event, but Mads and the guys behind Tier1 should get a lot of praise. They've been doing amazingly, and again, I am sure nobody will regret going to this event, and especially the top 4 people, they will go home with a smile.
Oh my goodness, I can't wait. All right, thank you so much for joining me, Jay. Thank you in the audience for joining us here today. Check out Tier1Con, check out the links down below. It's going to be fantastic, and I cannot wait to see you guys there. From all of us here in Community MTG, have an amazing week. Peace.